Hi folks, it's been a while since I've done a video of the week. It's been 2 or 3 weeks now, I think. Again, circumstances have conspired against me, but there was some good posts this week, so I thought I would definitely make time for a video. And also, for the first time in a while, I would record it in the cinema room with the proper phone holder, the proper ring light, the proper mindset to not have the ring light reflecting in my glasses, so that's why they're perched there. I look like a really grumpy, dishevelled librarian. So, what have we been picking up? The Wolf of Wall Street 4K in the Arrow video. I think it was on sale. It was a decent offer. A friend of mine who's involved in this release did a video essay, a visual essay, and he had pointed out to people that this was at a good price on our video, so I picked it up and then messaged him with a few expletives, basically saying thank you, but my wallet doesn't thank you. It's that was Dave Wayne. He's on here again with his partner in crime, Matty Budrevich, which I think I always pronounce Matty's surname slightly different every time I say it. I do give it a good try, Matty, and that's what counts. And it's been a while since I've heard his surname pronounced, so apologies if I've mangled that, Matty, if you ever hear this. Wolf of Wall Street is, I think it's incredible that Scorsese still has this energy at the age he is, making the movies that he's making. I think Killers of the Flower Moon is up there with his very best. It's just a fantastic story, and it's told so beautifully and in such a skilled way that allows the story itself to be told. But I really, really appreciate the moment where Scorsese essentially says, I'm not necessarily the right person to tell the story, but I have the platform and the ability to tell the story. So here it is. This is the best I can do at the moment. You're welcome to disagree with me on that interpretation, but yeah, I really like that in Killers of the Flower Moon. Now, Wolf of Wall Street is slightly different because of I think how things and the characters are portrayed. It is a more complicated movie to look at, I believe. Some might call it problematic. At the end of the day, it's a really well-made film. DiCaprio gives kind of a powerhouse comedic performance, certainly in one or two main sequences. Margot Robbie's great. The whole supporting cast do really well. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'll remain a big fan. I did assure my good lady that I wouldn't spend all of my time and money upgrading every film from DVD or Blu-ray to 4K, and I will not do that. But Wolf of Wall Street, they seem to have a few more tasty extras on there, and excuse me, it is a film that I think will look absolutely fantastic on 4K. Another one that will look great on 4K and I never did buy on DVD is Dogma. I have always been a big fan of Dogma. I think it's one of Kevin Smith's best films. I have this complicated relationship nowadays with Kevin Smith, and that there was a time where he couldn't move far enough away from the kind of slacker slash indie comedy that had made his name, and he tended to recycle the same themes quite often. He would go back to Jay and Silent Bob a few times after trying to leave them in his past. But I would always enjoy his features. Then he went into a few different directions. Red State is superb, really great. But Tusk, not so much for me. Although I did enjoy some of the wacky comedy in Yoga Hosers. I've not seen the 420 movie? I don't think I watched Clerks 3 yet. And there may be one or two others. So I've gotten away from the idea that a Kevin Smith film is a film I really need to see as soon as possible. That's feeling has been going for some time now. But I still kind of root for the guy. I still really like him, and Dogma is just brilliant. And we had a DVD release here in the UK that was just like, here's a film on a disc. That was it. I can't even remember if it looked or sounded decent. I may have owned it at one point. I've certainly never gone out of my way to pick it up again after no longer owning it. We knew that America had a decent release for some time, and then according to Kevin Smith's videos on his social media profiles, it seems to have gone away. Any physical media release of Dogma has just faded, and it was time to bring out a new release, and this is great. It's got some nice extras on there, but I'm actually really looking forward to watching this and listening to it on the 4K player, and appreciating that it's probably still Smith's best film in terms of technique, and he's helped by the cast in that. But yeah, really looking forward to it. May pick it for the podcast. Not sure if I can be that patient. Then now this was released a while ago. It's Terror in the Fog, the Wallace Crimi at CCC. It's another Masters of Cinema release, and I'm sucked in now. I can't get out of the stranglehold. I think I have every one of their recent releases when it comes to the CCC and the DEFA films that they've been packaging. They're great. I picked this up on eBay, and then it took a while to arrive, and it came through customs. Then I noticed there was no certification around the box. Then I noticed on the disc or around the side, on the bottom, it's A and B. So it will play, but I believe this will be the American release, because in America they don't have to be so strict about showing the certification all around, and I don't know if they're on the discs, but yeah, I should have noticed. So close call there. Could have kind of got myself in a bit of bother. I would have used the little Blu-ray player I keep for multi-region titles, but I'd rather not have to faff about with all that. So that's good. I look forward to checking those out at some point soon. More on that in a moment. And then from Arrow Video this week, we have these two, Day of the Locust and the Wandering Ginza Butterfly Collection. Day of the Locust is a film that I'm aware of its reputation, but not aware of where that reputation lands, if you know what I mean. It's a title I've heard of, and I can't remember if I used to hear it being celebrated or being derided. And I'm thinking derided, but then in my mind I think maybe it's because of it's called Day of the Locust, and I think of locusts, I think of masses of locusts, and I think of Exorcist II: The Heretic, which is a stinky movie and has been derided for years, and maybe that is the connection. Maybe. Or others have mentioned it and it's a really good film, and I've just never had it available to me to check out. I don't know. I will find out when I check it out, which hopefully will be soon. Again, more on that in a moment. And then, I mean, you can't really go wrong with anything that stars Meiko Kaji in my eyes. And yes, she is someone else whose name I pronounce slightly differently every time I mention her. So I try to mention the name once and then move swiftly on, because it's embarrassing for me, it's awkward for you, it's not great for all involved. She is an icon, she's a legend. I don't want to spend my time just potentially getting her name horribly wrong. Anyway, this does include Wandering Ginza Butterfly and its sequel, which is called She-Cat Gambler. There are some nice tasty extras in this set and in the Day of the Locust set. So yeah, I may hopefully get around to those soon enough. Anyway, why do I keep saying I will get back to mentioning watching these titles? Well, I was trying to make some progress recently. It is my kind of reasoning that for the podcast I will do my best to pick titles that I own, so I will finally mark them off my huge watch list. It's embarrassing. And like the other week, I watched You Must Be Joking! ! Which is a title you would have seen on either the last video or the video before that. It was an Indicator release, directed by Michael Winner. Has an ensemble cast portraying a group of soldiers who are given a list of items to set them on what is essentially a very British treasure hunt. So they've got to find things that are symbols of like great Britishness. You had Leslie Phillips, you had Terry Thomas, you had... I've actually gone blank on the actor's name, and it's really annoying me. He was the uncle or the granddad in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Damn it. You've got Denham Elliott. There's a tiny role for, did I mention Leslie Phillips? Brenda Cribbins, and quite a few others smattered about. And it was fun. It was odd. It was very of its time, but it was kind of fun. And I'm like, yes, I need to make more time for these films that, you know, they're not all going to necessarily blow me away or end up on any top 10 list, but I'm buying them for a reason. Michael Winner films in particular, I'm not necessarily going to dedicate an amount of shelf space to Michael Winner films, but it is always interesting to be reminded of what he did before he kind of became Mr. Death Wish to many people. The Death Wish movies were there. Dirty Weekend was a big release. It kind of said it was like a female Death Wish. But before then, you know, even with the Sentinel, he was kind of the... he was already going into like dark and dirty genre fare, I would say. Whereas early on, You Must Be Joking! Is there. The Jokers is a great one with Oliver Reed and Michael Crawford. Thank God I pulled those names out of my head. And there are a few other titles that are around that I keep seeing and thinking, yeah, I'll check out those earlier Michael Winner films. He certainly didn't seem to lack ambition when it came to putting on a spectacle in very British settings. When you watch You Must Be Joking!, if you've seen it, some of the little car stunts seem a bit crazy and quite dangerous, and yet they are just part of sequences that are playing up comedy and going, you know, further into the manic nature of the chase and the treasure hunt, and the characters just being one foot intertwined with one another as they're going for the same targets. So yeah, it's a good one. It's interesting, and that is why every title I've mentioned there that I haven't seen, or I haven't seen for a long time, I really am aiming to prioritise them. I like to keep up with the new films, obviously, whether it's at a cinema, whether they launch on streaming, or if I've bought digital copies. But I do really want to watch the stuff that I buy. Like, that is the point for me of buying them. I don't buy them to flip them. I'm not a reseller. If I watch something and loathed it, I would still be seduced by enough nice extra features, or if it was just a blank disc, it would get passed along to, you know, a good home. So that's what I do. So there will be more of them appearing on the podcast. You can always check out some of my Letterboxd lists if you want to see the titles that could be in contention there. And yeah, that's it. Other than that, I hope you enjoy the podcast this week. The episode should drop tomorrow as usual. And Dave came along with Sumo Do, Sumo Don't. And Tyler came along with Johnny 316. One of those films features some gratuitous nudity and Vincent Gallo. I'll let you figure out who picked what title. Until then, take care. Bye.